Hello everybody and welcome. My name is Graham Cairns and I am the Sergeant at Arms for Forex Toastmasters Club. I am also one of the coordinators of this course along with Adi Strickland, who you will meet shortly. Let me go through a few things for those of us here in the room. If you have a mobile phone, and we all have a mobile phone, please make sure that it is placed onto silent so that it's not going to go off in the middle of somebody's presentation. That would be rude and not good. Also, we have here a fire escape over to my right. If there is a fire, please leave via the right. Do not leave via behind me, because if you leave via behind me, you're heading towards books. And what do books do? Books burn. What do? You burn. You don't want that to happen. So if there is a fire, go that way. If you need to go to the toilets, I'm sorry, there's not enough time. It takes too long to get up the 2 flights of stairs. For those of you at home, if you have a fire, do what you need to. If you have an emergency, well, let us know, but not much we can do about it from here. And if you have a mobile phone, again, can you please make sure that it is turned on to silent? Somebody's just arriving. I'll just go and let in Joy. Here comes Joy. Now, let me do we acknowledge the traditional owners, the traditional custodians of the land on which we physically meet today. That is the Turrbal peoples from the north side of the river and the Jagera peoples from the south side of the river. And to the traditional owners of the land wherever you are today. We pay our respects to elders past and present. The mission of a Toastmasters Club and of this course is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. We have a couple of apologies for today. The president of the club, Tom, has said that he is unable to make it today. He is just literally snowed under with work. And we have an apology from another member, Anthony, who is away in Sydney and can't get here. Apology from Charmaine, who rang me this morning to say that she actually has somebody arriving between 12 and 2, which she needs to have dealt with because her house goes final on Monday and she wants to sell the house, and quite reasonably, I guess that takes precedence. So those are our apologies. Are there any other apologies that we are aware of for this session? One of the speakers? Maria Barzoni. Yes, Maria indicated that she may not be able to make it, and Maria was down on the agenda, so we will only have the 3 speakers today. One other apology, and that is the area director, Marina Bruno, who many of us will have met last week. Marina would like to have been here for your graduation, but is unable to do so. That's my bit as the Sergeant at Arms. I'll now call on my co-coordinator, Adi Strickland, to get Speechcraft Session 8 underway and to welcome guests. Yep. Oh, hang on. Sorry, my fault.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes, it's all the time. Usually it's me. So we have a couple of guests at least. We have Matt. Matt is Long's boyfriend. He's come along here to see how Toastmasters goes because he was very thrilled to hear from Long what was happening. We have Con Papametros. I should have said you first because you're the esteemed division director of this area, this division, sorry. So get that right, Adi? Yes. Thank you, Con. Welcome. We have somebody in the middle of my screen, and I can't remember your name, but you were here last week, I think. Ken. Is it Ken?
Yeah,
Kent.
Kent. Yeah,
Kent.
yeah.
Got it. Now I know. Welcome, Kent. And I'll be asking all the guests what it was like afterwards, just to get your feedback. And finally, a guest we have is Kevin Ryan, whom I know through a different club that also meets early in the morning. Welcome, Kevin. I'll ask you at the end what you thought of it, what you made of it, and maybe if you'll be going ahead with the Speechcraft from what used to be IPMEA is now Brisbane Sunrise Speakers. Gives you a clue when they start. Okay, Speechcraft Session 8. You're holding your breath. We have 3 speakers, Long, with my Speechcraft journey, wisdom has been gained, evaluated by Sue. Dominic, well, I don't know your speech title yet, so please tell me, Dominic, speak up, don't hold your breath forever.
I haven't come up with one.
You haven't got one? Okay, well, like I haven't come up with one, no name. And he's evaluated by Steve, is that correct, Steve?
Yes.
Okay, and we have Alan. A speech title, Alan? Muted there. Unmute.
Culinary creations.
Oh, drat, I wish you were here and could offer them in person. And that you'll be evaluated by Sandra, Alan. Joy, I've got a special job for you. I want you to have a brief evaluation of all the evaluators. So that's 3 people. So you listen to Sue, Steve, and Sandra, and you tell us how they did, in your opinion, just a very short, what they did, what you heard, and what you felt, just to evaluate the evaluators. And maybe if we don't have time, you might like to write it into the chat and then publish it before we finish so we can read it. Be good? Okay, excellent. So now I'm going to call on Long to present his first, I'm going to call on our Toastmaster for the day, which is Robert Strickland. I'm forgetting my place here. Robert Strickland, he'll be acting as a Toastmaster, and he has everybody here. You've got them down there? No. Okay, use that one. So with Rob Strickland.
Introducing person coordinator. Thank you and welcome to all. It's my pleasure to be the Toastmasters today, and I only have 3 people to introduce. I believe the evaluators are going to be introduced by someone else, but it gives me great pleasure to introduce Long, one of our Speechcraft newbies, who's going to speak on, sorry, I've lost it. What's your topic?
My Speechcraft journey, wisdom has been gained.
Yeah, my Speechcraft journey, wisdom has been gained. So would you all join me in welcoming Long?
Okay. This one? Can everybody hear me? Okay. Let's begin. We all made it. Woohoo for us. For every guest, visitor, member, and myself, we got through it. Wisdom, a beautiful word. Wisdom is built by knowledge, honed by experiences and insights. Our wisdom can change and evolve throughout our life. It gives us perspective, a holistic view in this world to make a better judgment in our everyday life. In this Speechcraft course, it gave me wisdom around speaking and to connect with people like you guys, my supportive and friendly cohorts. This course challenged me to hone my skills and provided insights into myself that I never knew. I remembered when I first arrived to this Speechcraft course, I was very scared and nervous. I wanted to run away and hide somewhere, and I still kind of do. People be scary. Speaking in front of people is even scarier. That feeling was so real. Being scared of the judgment, being scared of messing up, and being scared that I wasn't good enough. I was on the edge of the cliff, nearly consumed by fear. But I presented my first ever speech. I gave it a go. My icebreaker speech about my love of learning, cherishing memories with those that you loved, and stargazing. I fumbled my way through my fear. However, that speech reminded me again why I wanted to do this course, to challenge myself, to connect with people and myself, even when I struggle to do so. And so my journey began. I took a proactive approach to volunteer to speak when I can, talking about Diogenes' provocative displays and philosophies and my adventures in Melbourne. These speeches gave me the opportunity to experiment with my choice of words, vocals, and body language. allowing me to discover and explore my limits. Now, I'm much more confident after learning from my mistakes and from all the feedback that I received. Thank you to all my evaluators. Do you know what I love the most about the course? Hearing all your beautiful voices. Each one of you have your own style and essence. It gave me a perspective on my speech. It made me rethink about what it means to have a speech. That speeches can come in a variety of sizes, shapes, and styles. And that is amazing. These experiences and insights shaped my wisdom around speaking, overcoming my fear to see within myself that I can actually do it. And to connect with my audience, to live in my own style. It was a rewarding journey throughout this course. Wisdom has been gained. We all deserve that goddamn pizza, even though it's not funded. Thank you, Graham and Adi, for facilitating this course when it's the first time of the hybrid. Thank you for my boyfriend for coming today. And thank you everyone for being so supportive. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Long. That was a really, really good speech for a person who's never spoken before 8 weeks ago. So thank you very much. Now, for our next speaker, Dominic, I wonder if you've been able to come up with a topic.
Well, I've got a speech. You'll soon discover what the topic is.
Okay, so we can introduce Dominic. Would you all welcome Dominic with a speech? We'll soon know what it's all about.
We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade, not because it is easy, but because it is hard, because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. I wonder if you know who said that. Well, that was President John F. Kennedy in 1962 on the 12th of September, so almost exactly 60 years ago. And they did it. They got a man on the moon in July 1969. But when President Kennedy made that speech back in 1962, they had no idea how to do it. They didn't have the technology at all. But by setting that ambitious target, it incentivized action and they were able to achieve their goal. And today, I'm going to argue that we should take the next step and we should go to Mars. And the two main reasons why we should go to Mars are, one, the scientific advances, and two, there will be spin-off benefits that improve our lives here on Earth. So in terms of the scientific advancements, I mean, obviously going to Mars is going to be very challenging technically. It's also going to be very expensive. But humans have a long history of accomplishing things that at one point seemed impossible. So, for example, colonizing the New World, flying, nuclear energy, and going to the moon. And this bold target will incentivize a new generation of scientists and engineers. It will jumpstart big discoveries in science. And the two main reasons for going to Mars in terms of scientific discovery is, one, search for life, and two, to get a better understanding of our own planet, planet Earth, and how it evolved. Now, the question of whether there's life elsewhere in the universe is a fundamental question for humankind. And Mars is the perfect place to investigate that question, because amongst the planets in the solar system, Mars is the closest to Earth. And there is evidence that once it was warmer and it was covered in water and it had a thicker atmosphere, all elements that are conducive to life. And another reason we should investigate Mars is that actually its formulation and evolution early evolution were very similar to Earth's. And then there was significant climate change on Mars, and it's now a cold, dry planet, and water is unstable on the surface. So if we go there and investigate, we may get a better idea of what happened. And maybe we can learn some things that would enable us to avoid it on our own planet. And the second major reason why we should go to Mars is the technological spin-offs. And the reason I say that is because the Apollo mission to the moon had really significant technological spin-offs. And I'll just give you some examples. So cancer detection equipment was first used to detect imperfections in space equipment. And the fire-resistant textiles used in spacesuits are now used by fire services and the military. And our modern-day microchip is descended from the integrated circuits used in the Apollo guidance computer. And another example is the Apollo spaceship had a water filtration system that is now used in community water supply systems to kill bacteria and viruses. And just a few other examples are cordless tools, memory foam, smoke detectors, insulation. The list goes on and on of these spin-offs. And it may be that for every dollar that we spend to get humans to Mars will be more than repaid by some of these technological spin-offs. So in summary, I argue that we should go to Mars for the scientific advancement and also the improvements and the spin-offs that will help us in our lives here on Earth. And also, if we colonize Mars, we're also increasing the chances of our species surviving. Because if we stay a one-planet species, we're vulnerable to planet-wide catastrophe, whether that be natural or self-induced. And I'm going to leave you with another president, this time George W. Bush, who said when he was at the NASA headquarters on the 14th of January 2004, He said, we may discover resources on Mars that boggle our imagination, that will test our limits to dream. And the fascination generated by new exploration will inspire young people to study science and engineering and will create a whole new generation of innovators and pioneers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dominic. That was fascinating stuff, and I'm sure we've all gained something from hearing it. And our final speaker today is Ellen. Ellen's going to talk about culinary creations, and would you all please welcome Ellen?
Can I ask who is the time on the screen?
Timekeeper is Graham, and he's holding a card up like this. Can you see it?
Yes, okay. I just wasn't sure.
Okay. All right, over to you, Ellen. Could we all welcome Ellen with Culinary Creations? Can you hear us, Ellen? Because we seem to have lost you.
Okay, there. Is that better?
That's better, and we can't see you, but carry
Okay.
on.
There
Now
we
can.
go.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you. I was very fortunate that when I grew up, my mum was a fantastic cook. And she didn't have a lot of, she had to do everything herself because we lived out of town and she would shop once a week. And so she created everything, and she did 3-course meals practically all the time. And she was a fantastic cook, and she got better as she got older and more facilities came to her, like her microwave helped her with other things. My mother-in-law was also an amazing cook, and she was a Sicilian. So I was introduced to a whole other diet, the Sicilian diet, and the beautiful creamy cakes, cassadas and cannolis. And if you've ever been to a Sicilian festival, you'll know what the cakes, cannolis and cassadas were about. So last year, my cooking went from kitchen klutz to gastronomic goddess. You might ask yourselves, how did I do this? Well, we bought a Thermomix, and I love my Thermomix. There are so many things I can cook in my Thermomix that I couldn't cook before. And I'm sorry to rave on. I'm not going to try and sell you all a Thermomix, but I can now make my own yogurts. You probably say you could do that before, but it's so simple now. I just pop all the stuff in the steamer overnight and off it goes. It does its thing for 12 hours, and in the morning it's all ready. I can make my lovely risotto. Look at this risotto. That's my lunch. And it only took me 30 minutes to make. And as a working wife, I love anything that's going to save me time. In fact, it's so simple that even hubby can use it. He can make his own pizza dough. There are scales on it, so he weighs in the measurements with the scales on the machine. It mixes the dough with the dough function, and then he can make pizza better than store-bought, because now we can control what goes into the food that we're eating, and we just love it. So there's lots of other things I make. I made Portuguese custard tarts, carrot cake, Caribbean carrot cakes that are to die for. They're so delicious. There's lots of pineapple, coconut, walnuts, beautiful stuff inside. My probiotic gummies that are very good for your gut. And as well, I make my usual biscottis and other things too. So it's really easy to use, and there are so many functions built into the machine. I've mentioned the scales, the dough maker. We also have the rice cooker is very good, fermentation mode, slow cooker, sous vide, potato peeler. some of these things I haven't even tried yet. I've made macarons, and I hadn't ever attempted to make macarons before. With my custard, I was able to cook it precisely to the 37 degrees that was required. And it was so easy. And my goodness, we even have to eat healthy foods now, because you can't just eat all foods. We can also make our healthy salad. Indian curries, no butter chicken curries, lots of things. I've made a beautiful pasta in there with salami, smoked salami with cream, and oh. And to be able to make something that we really enjoy.
Thank you, Ellen. I'm sorry to say that we missed quite a bit of that speech because of, there's about half a minute, so it was not overly, we got the general drift of it, but your microphone must be faulty or cutting out.
It did, it went off again. I must have bumped it.
Ah, it's on now. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
sorry.
So thank you very much, Ellen. That was wonderful. And
Okay.
yeah, so that brings us to the end of the actual speeches for today. And we're going on to the evaluation now. And the first evaluator is Sue. Are you ready with your...
Do you want timings?
Oh,
Yes.
yes, please. Could I get the times?
Timings for the three speakers were: Long spoke for 4 minutes and 2 seconds. Dominic for 6 minutes 37. And Ellen for 4 minutes 30.
Right, thank you very much. Okay, so you've got all those times, I'm sure. If could you go ahead with your evaluation, please, Sue, on long speech, my Speechcraft journey. Over to you, Sue, please.
Okay, Mr. Toastmaster, Speechcrafters and Toastmasters and guests. I loved the way Long took charge of his space immediately by moving the lectern, adjusting his mic, and just stopping and taking a deep breath. I really want to commend Long on his eye contact. He looked to the left and the right of the room, obviously including everyone in the room, but he looked to the front of the room, obviously at the camera, at the screen, because as an online attendee, I felt really included. And I think that was exceptionally well done, professional almost. Long's gestures were to be commended. He used his hands so well when talking about you guys and running away, and each one of you. Excellent. Long's enthusiasm is palpable and infectious. And I saw Long's first speech, and he has slowed his speech down considerably. His enthusiasm was always there, and he was always infectious, but he's slowed down so that we can digest his speech a lot better. It was structured. I think Long has gained a lot more than wisdom. He's learnt the value of structuring a speech and using body language and gestures and eye contact to enhance what he wants to say. And I think Long is going to be a great motivational and inspirational speaker. Congratulations, Long.
Thank you very much, Sue. Most insightful. And could I now ask Stephen to evaluate Dominic? What a speech Dominic gave us, and I'm sure Stephen will have some very interesting comments to make. Over to you, Steve.
Thank you, Rob. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, what an informative speech Rob has just given us. So what an informative speech Rob has given us. And what impressed me most about Dom's speech was his speech construction. He started out with a quote from JFK back in 1962 as to why we should go to the moon, and then used that as a stepping off point as to why we should go to Mars. He then presented two clear reasons as to why we should go to Mars for scientific discovery and technological spin-off, and then summarized well, rounding off with another quote from another famous person. Now, just one minor point with the construction, Dom, and that is you introduced new ideas in the summary. You told us you were summarizing and then went on to introduce new information, which is not the usual sort of style of way things are done. Your Zoom presentation is terrific. Eye contact is good, your position in the screen and relative size in the screen is good. You speak very clearly and concisely at a well-tempered pace, and that way it's very easy to understand what you're conveying to us. I really appreciated your speech, Dom, and thank you very much for doing so. Back to you, Rob.
Thank you, Steve, for that very forthright and insightful evaluation. Moving right along to Ellen's speech on culinary creations. Could I invite Sandra to come up and give us her evaluation of Ellen's speech?
Fellow Toastmasters. Thank you, Helen, for your beautiful speech. What I like most about you taking us to a beautiful kitchen cooking world. I almost taste these beautiful recipes. You make the audience entertain, engage, and I think that all we feel a little bit hungry now. You use your hands well. Your speech was very visual. You show us your risotto, your cupcakes. You have a good facial expression and a good voice intonation. Maybe an improvement could be check your microphone before the speech, but overall beautiful speech, and really made me feel that I want to cook in your new kitchen appliance. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sandra. My word, we've had some wonderful speeches and evaluations today. And we now have that interesting part of all Toastmasters clubs, which is the table topics, feared by many and admired by some. Could I please ask Stephen to introduce the various people, and he is the next speaker, if you like, who's going to be our table topics master. Over to you, Stephen.
Thank you, Rob. Fellow Toastmasters and guests. It's 12 o'clock. The sun is at its zenith. It's a time for many long-standing customs and rituals throughout the world, including none other than the Forex Toastmasters meeting. Time. Time is the theme of today's table topic session. Now, the first table topic is, it was 1 second before midnight. Now, Sue, would you please respond?
Did you say me, Steve?
Yes.
1 minute before midnight.
1 second, Rob.
Toastmasters and guests. It was 1 second before midnight and it was 3 hours I'd been laying there awake. And I thought, I cannot bear another second being here awake. And strangely, this happens so often lately. I don't know why. Is it part of getting older that you don't sleep as well? I'm fairly active. I go to the gym. I do things around the house. Why is it when we get to this age, we stay awake for so long? 1 second, every second counts that I'm losing out on sleep. And I don't want to lose another second sleep. Mr. Toastmaster.
The next table topic is the time is nigh. And I can't see who's in the room from here. And Rob, could you please choose somebody?
Okay. Matt, are you interested in taking that on? Come on up here, Matt, and you've only got 1 minute to speak. What's the topic again, Stephen?
The time is nigh.
Nigh.
The time is nigh. My work is already overdue and I'm stressing to complete it all in time. At home, I have a dinner which is burning and I'm rushing to get home, but I just can't quite make it because I am burdened by my work chores. I feel as if everything is in control of me and I have no control over what I want to do and what I have to pursue in future.
The next topic is dead on time. Kent.
All right, I'll give it a go. Thank you, Table Topic Master. Dead on time. The phrase springs to mind my university career. So for one example that the phrase brings to mind is my second year project, in which we were a little bit behind schedule. And in order to compensate, we had to stay up all night for the 7 a.m. Due in time. Now, we thought we had completed it. And when we sent it in or handed it in, it was dead on arrival. So, you know, unfortunately, but anyway, thank you.
The next question, next topic is for somebody in the room. Rob, if you could please choose somebody. And the table topic is time is the root of all evil.
Sandra, would you like to do time is the root of all evil?
Well, I have so many situations that I cannot deal with my time schedule. My friends told me that I need to improve my punctuality. I feel like sometimes my angel inside me told me, Rush, come on, do it faster, do it. You can do your duties, whatever you need to do. And the devil side on the other hand told me, oh, just take your time, they can wait for you. But anyway, at the end of the day, I take the decision and what is the best for me and for my people around me. Thank you.
Very much. And I think that brings it to the end of our table topics. We got time. Okay, Steve, you got one more for the Zoom people, please.
Yes, sure. The final one is in no time flat. Sure. Kevin, would you like to speak?
Mr. Toastmaster, or Mr. Table Topics Master, thank you very much for a topic that actually addresses one of the main areas that we at Toastmasters try to address, which is never to speak flat. If we ever don't have the right amount of vocal variety, we'll be accused of being flat. If we ever speak about a topic that doesn't interest people, we'll accuse of leaving our audience flat. And so I think time and flat are something that we should always be thinking about in conjunction with each other, to be able to recognize that when we take up some people's time, we should never leave them flat.
Thank you very much. And that brings our table topics to an end. And could I pass back over to Adi, who's going to introduce our next speaker. Thank you very much.
Without any hesitation at all, I would like to welcome Con Papamitros.
Just before you do, just want Joy to give an evaluation of the evaluation.
Joy, are you able to give an evaluation of the evaluators?
Sure, I'm happy to do it now.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, Con.
Excellent. Thank you, Eddie, for the opportunity, and thank you everyone for your great participation today. I'll give some general feedback to our evaluation, because when I was taking the notes, there are some common themes. And one, pleasingly, is all the evaluators were able to give really good, candid feedback with examples from the speech, where the people who are presenting could be able to build on to improve their next speeches. So that was observed through when Sue provided the evaluation, Steve and Sandra as well. And also in providing the feedback, there was really general good structure on, from introduction on the person who was providing the topic, the speech itself, and then some summary of the key learnings or summary or things that really went well. So that was really well done. Just a little bit of things that perhaps could be done better. One is to do with the time. I think with some evaluation, which can be really challenging with some of these great speeches, is where you're just, it's really tempting to go over time a little bit, because it's hard to know what do I leave, what do I not provide. So maybe having a balance so we are able to provide that time feedback evaluation within the stipulated time, that'd be really useful. And the other thing that I also noticed maybe while on the screen, as I'm doing here, at times it's so easy to just be seen from the shoulder, and so really hard to really understand the body language. But I like what Kevin did while he provided this tabletop. You just stand, move a little bit back, and perhaps people are able to see your hands and understand exactly your body language in addition to following the speech. And perhaps a similar approach would apply to someone in the room, perhaps move the stand. And so that way we are able to see just more of the body language, as opposed to when someone is sitting back and all you can see it just shoulders upwards. Thank you very much, Eddie.
Thank you, Joy. That was terrific. And now, Con Papamitros, the Brisbane Division Director.
Thank you. Thank you, Adi, Speechcraft Course Coordinator. It gives me great pleasure to come here today to present the certificates to the participants of the Speechcraft course. In particular, I was here on the first week of the Speechcraft course, and I did hear some of them speak. I'm amazed at the progress they have achieved. In particular, I did hear Long's icebreaker speech some weeks ago, and the improvement of his speech today is remarkable, beyond words. I couldn't even begin to comment other speakers that compare to improve so quickly in a couple of weeks. So I congratulate him and the rest of the participants who also have developed their speaking skills extremely well. Toastmasters International provides this Speechcraft course, which is a valuable tool to introduce non-Toastmasters to Toastmasters so they can help with improve their speaking skills, team building skills, communication skills, and many other things that Toastmasters International can teach us. So I congratulate them for doing that. And I challenge everybody in Toastmasters and outside of Toastmasters, if they hear of a Speechcraft course and they know one of their friends would be interested in joining, I ask them to go along and participate in the Speechcraft course because they will get great benefit like the participants did today. I will begin with giving the certificates to the people that are in the room before I announce the ones on the screen, on the Zoom. So I will begin with the first certificate of recognition to Speechcrafter Long Nugent. So please come back to that.
Hi there. Cheers. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. The second one is Sandra. Congratulations, Sandra.
Yay. Well done.
Thank you, Sandra. Third certificate of recognition I have in the room is Rob Strickland. Rob. On the Zoom screen, I have a certificate to Dominic O'Neill, which will be sent to you via
Probably post if you want it, or email, whichever you prefer.
post or email. Graham can organise to get that to you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
The second one is Ellie. Congratulations. The third one is Steve. And Sue Picker. And I do have Dylan is not here. No, and Judith is not here. And Maria is not here. There is 3 other certificates for people that are away, but Graham will organise to get them sent to those people. Thank you, everyone participating, and I look forward to seeing you at another Toastmasters Club meeting somewhere soon. Thank you. Thank you.
I'd now like to call on my fellow co-coordinator, that is Graham Cairns, to give an evaluation of this course.
Thank you, Amy.
Yeah, elbow, all that stuff.
This is going to be brief. I wanted to say that this course has not gone quite as we expected it to when we first set the course up. For our guests and for everybody, the purpose for some of our Speechcrafters doing this course, those that are existing Toastmasters, was so that they could see how the new electronic version of Speechcraft would go. And of course, as you may or may not know, Toastmasters decided to do an upgrade of its website about 2.5 months ago, at which point it fell over and we've been unable to actually sign the Speechcrafters up to the new version of Speechcraft. But, and this is an important but, A, we will be able to do so soon. And when it happens, you will be signed up and you will get access to all of the material which we have promised you online. But perhaps more importantly, because Toastmasters is such a collegiate organisation, we've been able to talk to clubs who have been able to access the website and get from them examples of the material which they were able to use. We have put together, using the resources of those clubs, some here in Brisbane, some in other parts of Australia, some from around the world. We hope we've been able to put together an educational and energizing experience for each of our Speechcrafters. I'm genuinely sorry that we haven't been able to give you that which we promised you 8 weeks ago, but I'm also genuinely happy that the course has gone as well as it has. There have been some glitches, but I've got to tell you, those glitches were not in any way, shape or form the fault of the Speechcrafters or of other members of Forex Toastmasters Club. I want to thank the Speechcrafters in particular for rising above and beyond what was expected. I've heard some excellent, and I use that word advisedly, I have heard some excellent presentations in terms of prepared deliveries, extemporaneous speeches, evaluations. I have really enjoyed what Speechcrafters have given us as Toastmasters. I just hope that Toastmasters have enjoyed as much what we have been able to deliver. There is a question about where we go from here, and to tell you the options for our Speechcrafters and for our members of the club, please welcome my co-coordinator, Adi Strickland. Yay, Adi.
Come a little bit closer. In 8 weeks delivering on average 4 speeches each over that time. And you've achieved all the challenges of those presentations. Absolutely, every one of you. Every one of you. So, where to from here? Ask Dr. Zeus. Congratulations, today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. Of course, I would like you to join our club Forex and continue your Toastmasters journey with us. That's my selfish wish. However, it is also my unselfish wish, because I have seen over more than 20 years in Toastmasters, that's the time that I've spent in Toastmasters, I've seen people grow. They have grown and expanded their horizons. They have spoken better. They've accomplished more work that they'd never thought they would be able to do, more higher placed jobs. And of course, they've left clubs because they're working so hard now they're at their new job, which they wouldn't have got without the Toastmasters, that they've had to go on. But, you know, life happens. Life happens at short notice. Opportunities arise at short notice. Are you ready to take them? Troubles occur with short notice or no notice. What do? By keeping practicing the skills learnt in this course, confidence will build, and not only confidence in speaking, but confidence in acting, confidence in leadership, confidence in taking people with you to some other place that might need to be done. If I hadn't been a Toastmaster, I would never have had the confidence of starting as the leader, the coordinator of a small library, a small branch library. What was it? It was the bus library. I had to learn to drive a bus all around Auckland. And wow, that took me places, didn't it? So that was one of my goals. I achieved it by Toastmasters. A world champion of public speaking, a person called Manoj Vasuvadan, who was a world champion of public speaking in 2017, he said, I have learned to say yes first and then figure out how to deliver. And he was asked at 24 hours notice to read the body language of Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un at their 2018 meeting. He had 24 hours to prepare. So look, you can do it. You can do whatever you want in your life. Toastmasters is one way of leading you through, and Toastmasters can lead on to other jobs within Toastmasters and other experiences within Toastmasters. It can add friendships to your whole life, and you can go places that you'd never guess. So I'm going to finish with Dr. Seuss again. Be sure when you step with care and great tact. And remember that life's a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with your left. And will you succeed? Oh, yes, you will succeed. 98.475%. Indeed, guaranteed. Kid, you'll move mountains. So be your name Box Balm or Bigby or Bray or Mordecai Ali Van Allen O'Shea, today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. I'd like to ask some of the guests here today if they have some words to say about what's been happening today for you. I'll start with Matt in the room. Matt?
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, hang on.
I'll pass you the microphone, Matt, so that those online can also hear you, see? The Georgia flag.
Yes. I live in a world of hybrid events.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. I've really enjoyed watching Hal's speech and everyone else's speech up here, and I've always wanted to do a course in public speaking and really want to excel my knowledge, and so I think I will be joining Toastmasters in the future, and yeah, really look forward to it. Thank you.
Yes, congratulations to everyone. It was a great meeting, excellent hybrid presentation, and I'm glad to see so many people in the room and on the screen. Thank you.
And Kent.
Yes. Kent's still there, yep.
Did you say me?
Yes, Kent.
Yeah, congratulations, everyone. I thought it was awesome hearing all the speeches. And this is my first online meeting, so it's good to know that in this day and age, you have, you know, a module to do it from home if you can't get there in person. Yeah, I'll be attending next week in person though. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Kent. And finally, I'd like to ask Kevin Ryan.
Oh, thank you, Addie. Yes, as possibly even a more experienced Toastmaster than you, because I'm a very slow learner. Great to catch up with Sue again, and congratulations to all of you who put this together. And I think learning to be able to speak, not just in the room, but in a hybrid environment is going to be a necessity for all of us moving forward. So congratulations on the way you put this together.
Do you think you might be running one from Brisbane Sunrise Speakers?
If we can find people who want to get up early enough in the morning, of course.
Yep, great. Anything else? I'm going to ask Graham to come over and say a final word. So please welcome Graham.
Thank you. Thank you, Adi. It's that time. We've got to wrap up. Thank you, everybody, for your attendance. Thank you for your attendance at any stage during the last 8 weeks. I'd like to offer you the opportunity to continue attending. We as Forex Club would welcome membership, not just from those who are doing Speechcraft, for example, although if you have undertaken the Speechcraft course, we will pay your joining fee. So that saves you the $50 that we would normally charge you. So that's covered. We'll talk to you about your ongoing membership. For any of the online participants, if you wish to be a dual member, for example, of this club, we would welcome you at any time, because we have taken a conscious decision. COVID be damned, we are a hybrid club and we are going to continue. Even if the spicy cough goes away, we're going to continue offering the opportunity to learn both here in the room and on Zoom. So you would be most welcome to come along and join us, but you'd also be most welcome as a guest at any time. because Forex Toastmasters, being one of the leading Toastmasters in Brisbane Division, always welcomes guests, and that includes you.